All right, it's time to take a stand, plant a flag, if
Right
you
here.
will, on some players. We're going to go all in on some guys right now in Dynasty. Players that we want in every single one of our Dynasty teams that we believe in. Or maybe it's a hot take, maybe it's not.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to give you one player each that we are very passionate about. For me, no surprise, it's George Pickens.
Brother George.
Okay.
Brother George.
We do 2 sets of rookie rankings. The first one is talent evaluation. The second one is post-NFL draft rankings because we have to consider landing spots, depth charts, those kind of things.
Correct.
And in our talent evaluation, he was my wide receiver 2 this year. I don't know if you remember this, but on the channel I said Pablo Picasso was born to paint, right? George Pickens was born to play wide receiver. It is truly an art to have watched him on film at Georgia. One of the most fluid wide receivers I've seen in quite a while. Okay. Got a lot of backlash for putting him wide receiver 2. Then the draft happens. I didn't love where he landed personally because you've got Deontay there. You've got Chase Claypool, quarterback change. You got Pat Freiermuth. It was difficult for me to really see like how he could be relevant year 1. But it looks like the talent is starting to show out. I mean, he was my wide receiver 8 after the draft, and I wish I would have stuck to my guns a little bit more, but I'm here to say officially I am planting a flag on George Pickens. Right now, if you're doing a dynasty startup, he is currently my wide receiver 26, okay?
Right.
My wide receiver 26, which means I'm taking him around the Hollywood Brown territory. That's where I'm currently drafting George Pickens. Now, if I don't need to and I can let him fall to me, I will do that. Let's talk about it. Firstly, like I said, the talent has overtaken the situation. And in Dynasty, that's what we like to kind of, hound on is, hey, believe in the talent. That will always overrule the situation. And we have seen that happen right now. On April 16th, like I said, I told the community he was my wide receiver 2 talent-wise. Had a lot of backlash. People were kept asking me about the ACL. Let me ask you. You heard anything about the ACL since the draft? Anyone?
No, nothing.
Anyone? Is that a concern for anyone right now? Should that have been something that we were concerned about? Not something I was concerned about, but a lot of people out there were telling me, oh, with the ACL. And his hands aren't very big. To which I replied, well, does he have issues with drops? I mean, you look at the last 2 classes of wide receivers, he had the best career drop rate of any wide receiver in the last 2 classes.
Right.
Better than Jamar Chase, Waddle, Devonta, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, better than all of them. Whatever wide receiver you can name, he had a better drop rate in his career because he doesn't drop balls. My guy takes every opportunity that he gets and he runs with it.
Yeah.
I then brought my pro comp, which was AJ Green. Okay, I think they look similar on film. If you look at their combine and pro days, eerily similar. Like height, same, weight a little bit off. 40-yard dash is very much the same. Vertical, the broad, all in the very similar categories, right? And then if you look at AJ Green's best season versus George Pickens' best season, not very far off either. I mean, they put up very similar numbers. So now let's talk about today, where we currently stand with George Pickens. I've said this, I think, 3 times this week, but what do you do when it's not just smoke and then fire? What do you do when it's just fire? Like every report out of camp is incredible. Every coach is hyping up this player. Every quarterback wants to throw him the ball. What do you do at that point? Because you've literally heard nothing negative about this player. Every tweet, every report. And then he goes out in the preseason and balls out, like puts up a touchdown, looked very dominant, was actually an incredible blocker as well. I don't know if you guys recognize that on the field, but he was blocking extremely well. And that is going to be something that the coaches see that they want to keep him on the field for that asset as well. So you're going to see George Pickens, in my opinion, already, he's going to take a starting role in this offense. He's going to have a really good opportunity to capitalize this year. And I said this before, but what quarterback has chemistry with the previous guys? Tell me. Does Mitch have chemistry with Deontay? What about Kenny? What about maybe Mason? But we don't expect Mason to start. So if you're going to say, well, Deontay's been there, he's established, Claypool's established. Well, they don't have chemistry with the quarterbacks that are currently there. Okay. So again, depth chart was the only issue. I personally believe that he's now overtaken Chase Claypool. I believe he will be the second target in this offense. I mean, you signed Deontay to a long-term, to an extension. That doesn't typically happen for the Steelers organization. To me, it sends a very clear sign that we're probably not going to re-sign Chase Claypool, which means you're probably going to prioritize George Pickens a little bit more in this offense. And by the way, you go up and put up the numbers and the performance that you did last preseason, and what are the coaches going to say? You know what? This guy's not ready. Let's hold him back a little bit more. No, you feed the man. You let him be.
Yeah.
You show, hey, all of you missed. All of you in the NFL, you missed on George Pickens. I mean, what does Green Bay feel like right now? What does Aaron Rodgers feel like right now? Watching George Pickens dominate. How about Kansas City? I know I love Sky Moore, but I had George Pickens as a better talent, before the draft. Of course, the only person I had ahead of him was Jameson Williams. So there's a lot of franchises right now that are probably, kicking themselves. I think even the Bears had an opportunity to draft him, if I'm not mistaken. So I think a lot of teams are going to regret this. I'm all in on George Pickens. As far as what he can do on the field, there is nothing that he cannot do. A fluid route runner, super smooth, incredible hands, can make the circus catches, which we've seen in college. We've seen it already in the preseason.
Yeah.
This is a player that you want to feed. You want him to be a centerpiece of your offense. And if there's any franchise that he can do that with, it's absolutely the Pittsburgh Steelers. They know how to develop wide receivers. So I have no concerns anymore. My only concern from the very beginning was, what will this depth chart look like?
Right.
So I'm all in on George Pickens, and I'm here ready to make a statement that he will be a top 10 dynasty wide receiver quicker than people realize. In the next 2 years, I believe that he will be a top 10 dynasty wide receiver.
2 years.
Okay. So I'm giving him a 2-year span. I expect that to happen. We're going to view him top 10. I think he's going to have an incredible year this year. And honestly, I'm trying to overpay right now in leagues to go out and get him. I mean, I'm sending Kadarius Toney in 2 seconds. I've literally sent that. So that's how much I believe in this player. I think right now you need to go out. You need to grab George Pickens. Mm-hmm. So someone that if you drafted in rookie drafts, you should be feeling absolutely incredible right now. But I'd like to go ahead and stamp my name officially on George Pickens and say,
there's a little flag right there.
The flag's planted. The flag is planted. I don't know what else people want to see from George Pickens. I mean,
yeah.
Isn't it funny though? Literally no one's talked about the ACL.
No one.
So I try to tell people, stop talking about this ACL, but whatever. It is what it is.
It happens. We'll see how it goes. The biggest hurdle,
I know it's only preseason, by the way.
Yeah, biggest hurdle is that depth chart, but I do agree he has surpassed Claypool, which could be interesting in this year. My guy that I want to say thank you to Zach, because I was saying, bro, I have no one to talk about here. And he was like, bro, don't you? What about Jerome Ford? And I was like, all right, I'll have a look. I'll have a look. If you guys do not know, he was my RB2 in talent evaluation before the NFL draft. What he did in Cincinnati was absolutely fantastic. Over 1,300 yards, 19 touchdowns. And he was the workhorse. His dominated rating was 30 plus, and that is percentage of his total team offense on the ground and in the air. And he was a 4-star recruit. I thought Jerome Ford was the guy. He was, once again, my RB2 over some guys like Ken Walker. Well, really just Ken Walker in the RB room, essentially. I really liked Jerome Ford. I really do like Jerome Ford still. Then he gets drafted to the Cleveland Browns, and I was extremely deflated. He went down to my RB14 in my post-draft rankings amongst rookies. I did not see a pathway for him. It's still really hard to see a pathway for him. Once again, I was deflated. In my dynasty rankings, to be honest, I kind of neglected him. He was like my RB 90-something. I was like, there's no way this is going to happen. I can't see this. What is going to be happening? But the revitalization from me watching this is literally what I did last night when I was looking at this. I watched his highlights. I watched the preseason game, and then I came here to this document and said, you know what? I need to come back and bring my love back for Jerome Ford. And like I said, thank you to Zach. And I was going back and forth. I was like, no, man, there's no way it's going to happen. And once again, I was deflated, because how the hell is this guy going to get any work with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt at the helm here in the running back room? There is no way. But there is some little glimpses of hope, right? So I'll take you through preseason. 10 carries, 57 yards, 5.7 yards per carry, and a touchdown on the ground. 4 receptions, 45 yards, and a touchdown in the air for Jerome Ford. Like I said, I did in my pre-draft process, did say he was an all-down back. I do believe he is a workhorse. He can be whatever you want and more. Okay, he's just a little bit undersized. He's like 5'11", nearly 6 foot. He's a guy that I truly, truly love. And everything that he has shown in preseason, he's shown on tape in years past with great vision, the patience, a strong runner, great acceleration and burst in every single level. And let's not forget, he was an Alabama guy. He went to Alabama and then he transferred because that Alabama backfield was too crowded for him. He knew that he needed to move to Cincinnati to get an actual opportunity. I forgot who was ahead of him actually, but he just needed to move, which he did, and he showed out there, and he was my dark horse in the running back room in this pre-draft process. So what is my flag? What is my big stamp? And like I said, there is a glimmer of hope here because I am banking on Kareem Hunt to kick rocks and say, you know what, I am not going to play this year. I am not going to do this. And this is a lot of things to really bank on. But hey, maybe what we can do is send a 23 fourth out that way. Maybe we could send a 25th fourth that way, or whatever the case may be. Maybe you haven't done your rookie drafts yet. Maybe you can still send a 2022 fourth, or maybe actually you don't have to because he's going undrafted in the 22 rookie drafts, right? In your rookie drafts. And in dynasty startups, he's going 15, 16, 17, even later than that, to be completely honest. He literally costs nothing. So if you can pick him up, send the fourth maybe in any of your leagues to the guy that has Jerome Ford, put him on your taxi squad. Maybe he's looking at it and saying, well, Jerome Ford is not going to be fantasy relevant. And once again, this is a really tough one because you have to bank on a lot. You really have to believe that Kareem Hunt has to walk away here. And if he doesn't, then it's kind of done. Like if Kareem Hunt signs a 2-year deal, I don't see a way, or 3-year deal, I don't see a way Jerome Ford getting on the field. But what we saw in preseason was fantastic. What we saw and what he can do was amazing. And I looked at Nick Chubb's. He does have it out next year. Is that going to happen? I doubt it. This team is in a financial hardship, to be completely honest. They just paid Deshaun Watson the most guaranteed money ever by a quarterback. They have Amari Cooper. Do they have enough money to even pay Kareem? Is Kareem really going to be happy with the money that they're going to be giving him? Or is Kareem truly going to be walking here, which gives Jerome Ford another step up? He was clearly more talented than Dearness Johnson in the backfield in preseason. Jerome Ford could be the guy taking the next step, maybe being the RB2 behind. He can be the new Kareem Hunt, potentially, if Kareem Hunt does walk away. We got to wait and see if he beats that opportunity. But once again, why not send a fourth? Why not send one? Throw some flyers out there. He shouldn't cost anything whatsoever. Put him on your taxi spot, maybe for this year, and see what happens. But this is a tough one, but I love the talent. I love everything that's happening. You just have to hope everything lines up for Jerome Ford because he can be a special, special player.
Yeah, and I think what I was saying to you was like, dude, I mean, the ADP is so good right now. You don't even have, it's not even like, you can draft him and he's still an incredible value. Like right now, Jerome Ford is.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you never know what can happen with Kareem Hunt, but I think Dearness Johnson was kind of already on the edge of like being a role player. He did well last year, but it's not as if he's had like a very clear path to the NFL. Yeah. So I think we could see Jerome Ford getting opportunities here in the next couple of years. And, it might be the long game, but I think the long game could be worth it for him for sure. So I like it. And, I remember someone commenting on a video. They were like, I don't buy anything Badaki says after he had Jerome Ford as his RB2. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like people are just always hating if you have a different opinion than others. So it's cool to see that he played well. It is only preseason. We do need to obviously say we're aware that it's only preseason. Yeah. These were players that we already fell in love with before the draft. So we're not reacting just to the preseason. We're reacting to all the reports. We're reacting to what we saw on the field with the starters and our beliefs that were already there for these players' talent. So why don't you guys let us know in the comments below who you're planting a flag on? Who is it?
Yo, what's good?
What
Thanks
up?
for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch
now,
it.
You can also subscribe
Right now.
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLandFam.